Scott Peterson is back in the news after 2 decades of being found guilty of unaliving his wife and unborn child, Connor, back in 2002. But before we get into why he's in the news, let's do a little backstory on what led him to being convicted and now being in prison for over 2 decades. Lacey Peterson, Scott Peterson's wife, was reported missing on Christmas Eve of 2002. That same day, Scott Peterson went fishing in the Berkeley Marina, which is about 90 miles from their home. After exhausting a few different leads, a full-term fetus, was found on the San Francisco Bay shoreline in April of 2003 by a couple walking their dog. Scott Peterson was charged that same very month for the death of his wife, Lacey Peterson, and the death of his unborn son, Connor. Investigators did determine that where they found Lacey Peterson's body and Connor's remains was around the area where Scott Peterson was fishing. A little bit of backstory of that actual case. Let's get into the LA Innocence Project and why he's even in the news circulating at all. The LA Innocence Project is a nonprofit pro bono organization that has taken on Scott Peterson's case, and they have believed that there have been yielded important leads to evidence supporting Peterson's claim that his wife was actually alive on December 24th, 2002. An example of one of these new evidence being presented is there are apparently eyewitnesses from the neighborhood that were never interviewed that saw Lacey walking the dog after Scott had already left Modesto. Also, 17 items that are being tested, and forgive me, I am having to read this part off of a index card because it's quite a bit. Also, 17 items Peterson is seeking DNA tests for include 11 items found near or with Lacey or Connor's bodies, 2 items from a burglary that occurred across the street from the couple's home, and 4 items connected to a torched orange van containing a blood-stained mattress. With all of that said, you guys, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, he has not spoken in well over 2 decades now. I rewatched his interview with Diane Sawyer from 2002, maybe early 2003, prior obviously to him being charged and convicted. But you guys, to me, this is a very closed case. I didn't mention anything about the point or the fact that he had a full-blown affair on his pregnant wife with Amber Frey, who also helped get this conviction. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, I truly don't think any of this is going to change anything. But I do think that it's pretty interesting that he's even trying.